and have a yarn and chat to you about some homeless issues and jumping in for an interview or a live chat.
Yeah, you are so passionate about what you do. No wonder you're standing up for the by-election. We had an interesting chat before because Emma went in to vote.
I was being responsible because my Saturdays are very full, and I went down to the early polling on Commodore Drive next to Cash Converters, and they said, "Not today, Emma. No,
Not
thank
today.
you."
And why not today?
Because I don't live in Rockingham. I live in Baldivis, but I don't live in Baldivis. I live in Waikiki.
Yeah.
But I'm not within the boundaries, which we've just discovered you aren't either, Jess. So we need to figure out where it is.
And I was looking forward to voting.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, so this is something that we've seen at early polling. Lots of people are coming down, but they're not within that electorate seat ward. So the cutoff of Harrington Waters, if you live in Harrington Waters, anywhere south of Goongarrie and wrapping around to Ennis Ave, you're not actually in the seat. There's also a pocket of Woodbridge that isn't in the seat. So if you live in Hillman, you're in the seat, but there's a little pocket of Woodbridge that is cut off. And south from Safety Bay Road, the Warnbro, you're not in there in that catchment either.
So can we talk about the suburbs that are in the catchment? If you are living in Safety Bay?
Safety Bay, Garden Island, Hillman, Rockingham, Waikiki, Coolungup, Charthouse,
Shoalwater, East Rockingham.
So if you you need to vote, and voting is on the 29th of July, but you can early vote at the...
It's just a polling centre, and it's next door to Cash Converters and kind of St Vinny's on Commodore Drive.
How important is it to have your say?
It's really important because you can't be a part of change unless you're a part of that. So your voice needs to be heard by writing 1 to 9 on that ballot box. And if we want to see change, everybody needs to get out, do the early voting, or go to one of the 10 local schools and high schools and number the ballot paper, with their preferences of who they like to see in the seat.
It's funny, they kind of pit candidates against candidates, but it's actually not that way, is it? I saw a picture of you on social media where you were with Hayley Edwards and it was all smiles. You guys actually looked like you were having a good day because you actually share a lot of the same values. So, tell me a little bit about what you've learned leading up to this election.
Oh, absolutely. So I was doing some door knock campaigning, some shopping centre visits with Brian Walker, our politician, and Sophia, and another member from the office. And I was walking back into the shopping centre. I saw Hayley. I said, let's get a photo because we need to have an opportunity to advertise what we're doing and, the things that we want to see change. So let's snap a photo, put it on your Facebook and put it out there. So every time I've been at early voting, just chatting to all the candidates and you can see it's not a negative vibe. So that sometimes we'll see in the media stuff that's written or headlines, it's pinning us all against each other. But it definitely doesn't feel like that. So when I've seen all the other candidates, it's amicable, it's jovial, we're yarning and chatting, and it's not necessarily what you read in the media.
And you guys can share a difference of opinion. But it still be the fact that, I share these views and values and you share these views and values, and that's okay.
Yeah, and there's a respect that everyone is passionate about their own thing. And when I went down to not vote, I witnessed that as well. You weren't there, but Peter was there, Hayley was there, Magenta was there, and they were just chatting. It wasn't like they all hated each other because they're up against each other. They were genuinely enjoying each other's company and engaging in conversation with each other and all the people who went to vote. Yeah.
Did you find that at the debate?
Yes. So I went past early voting yesterday to pull in after school with my children. Didn't happen. And I saw, the team yarning with their volunteers and my kids were, how come everyone's happy and talking? Well, do you want us to sit and have a negative experience? You're going to be there all day. So why wouldn't you be yarning with each other? And it was nice to see that. I did feel that at the debate, so that was an opportunity where most of the candidates were there and the vibe was positive. You know, we all greeted each other. No one was slagging the other candidates off, and you can feel the vibe. It's not nasty. It's not negative. And I remember someone who was in the audience said, you know, wouldn't it be great if we put every candidate together with all their strengths? That would make, you know, the
perfect politician.
the perfect politician, because we're all so diverse and we bring different skill sets to the table. But if you could combine all of these strengths and life experiences, you know, wouldn't that be great? And I thought, yeah, because I'd like to talk like Peter Hudson. He's just a professional politician. I'm like, I just feel like he's, you know, just so well versed, and you know, he already has that profile. And you know, like I've seen him, I feel like I've seen him on Question Time before. Like he already has that for such a young person. He doesn't feel like that because he knows what he's talking about, and his presence, I could feel that. So it's not negative. I think that we're all amicable. Yeah, and it's been a positive. I've been enjoying it because I'm going to make the best out of this opportunity. Yeah, but it's happy, and it's not necessarily what the media has been writing about. That's the truth.
So if you're in the Rockingham area, which we spoke before, why should people vote for you?
Why wouldn't you want to vote for me? So I represent the community for the city of Rockingham. So it took me 2 elections to get into that position, but it's not the first time that I've been elected to be the voice of the community. So as a young person, I was on junior council in primary school. Then I went to high school, I was on my school council, my student council, and I was school captain. And, you know, that was one of the first opportunities where I was elected. And what are you going to do with my vote? And we spoke about this last time. My friends were like, you know, are you going to legalize weed? And, you know, I'm like, hey, I'm back. Yeah, so I've been representing voices of the community, but I was saying to one of my teachers this morning from high school, you know, I never dreamt of being a politician. I thought, oh, no way. I've seen what they do on TV. I just think that's not me. But when you are a representative, and you are that's your natural skill, and you bring to the table other people's voices, it's like you have to. You can't sit down. If that's what your natural ability is, you need to use that. So whether it's God or the universe, this is something that's been given to me, and I need to take that and use it for my strength. So I've always, you know, whether it's school boards, community committees, the hospital, all these different kinds of things, I'm always representing voices of the community, or Aboriginal people, or young people, student bodies, working bodies. So I've kind of just built that profile where I'm going to represent the voices or the people that elect me, and it's just been gaining that momentum and training. So once I realized this was my natural ability, I decided, okay, I need to train that. So I traveled interstate. I did some your community country, and I did some training with Oxfam. And then so that was about getting more women in local government, having gender on the agenda, and how you will run a campaign. So there were some politicians and senators and mayors, you know, doing that training. So I thought, okay, so I went away, did that training, came back. Then I went back to Oxfam and did some political training in Canberra as a participant of the Straight Talk program. So that's about learning about the political system, what happens in Parliament, how to create change, how to lobby government, how to represent your community, and upskilling you with the tools that you need to create change. So, okay, I know that this is what I'm good at. This is what people want me to do. How am I going to do it? So getting getting those skills and building my profile. So I went back on that Oxfam program as a leader and a facilitator. So I got to actually, you know, as surprised as I was, help deliver that program to over 70 women across the country and islands, Torres Strait Islanders. So I actually was mesmerized because I'm a trainer assessor. So I've worked PCYC, TAFE.
For a young person, you've had a lot of experiences that you now bring to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's pulling all these things together, and I feel like, okay, well, this has been a part of your path, and this is going to be a part of your path for the future as well. So, what can you do to train yourself to be the best person? So while I was teaching at TAFE, um, the young people who don't fit that education system, didn't finish year 10, literacy and numeracy and community package. There was also women entering the workforce who needed upskilling, say had never used a computer before, or the kids had flown the nest. So that was called New Opportunities for Women and Wider Opportunities for Work. There was a few different programs. So just upskilling people, and I'm like, this is how we're going to do some goal planning. This is if your goal is to finish this course, what's your next steps? And I would always say, I'm going to run for local government. So my short-term goal is this, and then I want to run for government because I would like to see change in Department of Human Services. There's things that I would like to see change. So showing my students, even though sometimes, I was a lecturer, but I was the youngest person in the room. So I had to show respect for these women, talking about menopause. Yeah, you ladies take the lead because I'm going to learn from you. This might be what I have to teach, but I'm going to learn with you guys, and we'll learn from the community. So just being open-minded and doing that goal setting and working towards that goal. So, okay, this is what I've done, and my steps along the way. I've been identified by my peers as being a leader. I didn't necessarily always enjoy that, because I just want to turn off. But when you are embedded in the community, just because your day's over, you don't clock off.
Yeah.
You're always ticking. What's going on? And yeah, that's very powerful. So what would I use all these skills to do? What would I change, and why do I want change? And talking at the debate, why do I want change? Because I've been in this community, I've come, I've gone and come back, and I haven't seen change. And the things I've missed out on and lobbied for and fought for, even writing a funding submission for youth centres on the Youth Advisory Council as a volunteer, we didn't get that youth centre. So are my children going to miss out on that youth centre? So putting pressure on our local council to get a youth centre so we don't miss out on support services. So the gap isn't broadened for the people who are vulnerable, at risk, and we don't always have to miss out or go and travel to get the services that we need. So seeing that I want change, seeing that the community needs change, looking at it and not going, okay, I can complain about this, I can actually change this, and I can represent my community because of the things that make me similar to them. So it was like, okay, well, this is what you're going to do. How are you going to do it? What are your strengths? What roles have you done? I love fishing, so that's I just live and breathe fishing. I was always, growing up doing that, and I thought, this is I'm not alone. I'm similar to so many different people, and I'm not just one-minded. And how can I create change? So being with this party, I align with it because of the healing properties, and I know these laws need to change. So it's working out that, and I'm just so thankful for what a great opportunity. So it was.
Do you feel pressure?
Oh, sometimes.
Because I would imagine just, leading up to the election, there is quite a lot of pressure on each of the candidates. And how do you deal with that pressure?
Same way that you would keep mentally and emotionally fit and strong. So you can let that pressure override, and you can feel it building sometimes. You could start just like a panic attack or something. You can feel your body changing. So right now I should
breathe.
So sometimes just stepping out, taking 3 breaths, because I'm so passionate about what I'm talking about. We need to stop and breathe. And I think sometimes we just get so caught up, I've got to do the food shopping, I've got to do this, I've got to be here, I've got to be there, that we don't stop and breathe. And that's a tool you can use anywhere. So if I feel that urge rising and building, just have a breath, step out, positive self-talk is something that I do. Might look a bit, oh, what is she on, that lady? What is she doing? And it doesn't matter where I am. If I'm at work, if I'm at the shopping centre, it's okay. It's okay, Ray. You're going to be okay. So talking to myself.
I do that all the time. I said to Jess, like, it's really interesting because I say stuff like, you have got this. You have survived days like this before. You were going to survive this day. And now when I step out to take my breaths, I hear my kids. If we're in the car and it's been one of those mornings where I'm going to kill one of them, I do a breath and I hear a kid from the back, you've got this, Mum. And it's really interesting to see how it's passed on to them. And
Exactly.
It's such a simple technique.
Yes, and did we always know that this tool is something we can use? Or there's nothing wrong with talking to yourself and in a positive way, not like and deleting that negative talk to yourself. Oh, you bloody idiot, should have done this, like that. No, it's okay. You're going to learn from this and you're going to do this better. So the same way we talk to our toddlers, that neutral tone, that positive, calming way, you got to love yourself and look after yourself in the same way. So when I can feel this pressure building, it's okay. It's okay, Ray. This is the best time of your life right now. You're learning from this and you're doing this because why? You wanted to. So don't be distracted by the emotion, the build up, what the people are putting in the press. Do this and get the most out of it, because otherwise
it's a great attitude to have.
Never be here again.
It's also about not owning, like, your thoughts are not you.
Yeah.
So if you do have that negative self-talk, that is not actually the way the world perceives you. That's your brain trying to trick you into thinking and changing your emotion.
Absolutely.
And so that's where that positive talk, just telling yourself, no, hey, I've made a mistake, but that's okay, because that's leading me on a different path and I'm supposed to be on that path. So, yeah, it's great to hear, because I would imagine there is a lot of pressure. I mean, don't think I could ever become a politician, because there is such a spotlight on you and how that you handle that. I'm already fretting. I have to make a speech this weekend and I'm not sleeping because I have to think about it. You're making speeches every single day. You're standing up in front of people and, opening yourself up and telling people what you believe in. And it's so brave.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I look up to some of the politicians that we have who do that, who speak their truth, own their path, and represent what they're elected to do. And I would like to do that myself. So yes, it is brave. And if I don't feel brave, that voice, you've got this, it's okay. Think you can't control everything. Work with what you've got. Make the best out of it.
And you only have to look at the front page of the newspaper.
Yes, I know. Poor thing. I just think, and there's so many people who've
made a mistake.
Yes. Look, let's just let people be human.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it not to be featured on the front page of a newspaper. That spotlight is intensely on her. I feel for her because obviously she's trying decision. People make shit decisions. And now it's on the front page of the newspaper. May not have been known by everybody, but certainly is now. Yeah. And now she's open to judgment in regards to it. Yeah. And it's harsh. Yeah. It's very, very harsh.
Yeah, I read it and I thought, I actually want to ring her, but it's just the electorate number, it's just a generic contact. So I thought,
that's
okay.
So kind of you.
Yeah, I thought, it's okay, girl, you got this. It's just one day. Tomorrow, you're yesterday's news. Don't worry about it. Don't let this get you down, because I've been in that position. Front page of the West, I made a mistake, and that moment doesn't define your own you. Yeah, it's going to feel yuck, but get yourself up, pick yourself up. You're human. Everybody makes a mistake, and you're not the only person in this town who's done that. And if you make the same mistake over and over again, that's just mindless. But if you make a mistake and you go, I'm going to grow from this and never do that again, that's good. And you can own that shame. And just like I've done with something that happened previous, I might have been on the front paper for something, or on the West, or all over the media, and it still comes up, but that's okay. I've learned from that. I know in myself that I won't do that again. And don't let that emotion, don't get caught up in the emotion or react. own your space, and you're normal. There's so many people in this town who've done that. It's okay.
So her face being on the front
Should we
page.
say, because we are radio,
Yeah.
like people who are listening don't actually know what we're talking about.
Okay, so on the front page of the Sound Telegraph, Marshall Magenta, she's obviously been done for drink driving in her past. Maybe has not let her party know that this has actually occurred.
I think they knew.
Or maybe even forgot about it. Like, you know, how many years ago?
Yeah, and now obviously has to relive this mistake. Anyone would be embarrassed in that situation. But if another parent views that and goes, I don't want that to happen to me, I may have run the risk a few weeks ago. I'm not going to do that again because I don't want that to me. It's a learning.
Yeah, it's a lesson for everyone, I guess. And a lesson for her as well. Like you say, growth comes from how you deal with these situations. And it's a terrible position to be in because everyone makes mistakes. And I think we should hold our politicians to be accountable. But I think the reality is everyone is young once and doesn't always necessarily do the right thing or make good choices.
Can I just say, if you look at the front page of the newspaper, underneath there's an ad. So it's like they've invested in this newspaper, but then also they've been like, well, it's
that juxtaposition.
That harsh reality, isn't it?
And even the choice of photo, like it's
the juxtaposition of how the Labor Party has been portrayed, the change that's coming, the fact that for the last few months, this lead up to the election, the wraparound for the newspaper is, I think, about $14,000. So that's, I've seen more in media paid for this electorate than anything that we've ever actually been given, because we haven't had the spotlight. So I'd like to see the numbers at the end of this campaign, that how much the party has invested.
Well, because what could that be invested in locally?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, some basketball courts.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. My husband and I have never argued about elections before, and we had an argument about who he was voting for because he was voting wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, just less right than you.
That's right. But we didn't have to vote anyway, so we had an argument for nothing.
That's true.
Yeah, in the car on the way down to not vote.
As long as you rounded that up and had some love on the way.
Oh, we did. Yeah. I was just saying to Jess, because my husband and I we've been together since we were 15, and we've been married. This year will be 19 years, and he's just started doing 9-day fortnight. So we're doing like date night.
Yeah,
date days every second Tuesday.
Shaving your
really
legs.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, no, not that kind of date. I maybe go on a bushwalk.
Yeah, and it's so romantic to spend that time with each other and get to know each other, and not that hustle and bustle of cooking dinner and rush. I
often say, like, I wonder if I'll still like him once all our kids have left home. Like, it'd be good to get to know you again. We may not like each other anymore because, we've got 6 kids. Life's ridiculous. We've got 2 with disabilities. It's a bit crazy. So I wonder if we will even know each other once they've all left home.
Yeah, and you change. You might not be that person you were when you were 15.
Yeah,
and
it's a lot sometimes even now.
Yeah, we grow apart from the people we love, and we can still love them, and we don't necessarily need to be together. But I have seen that, especially with these women in the programs that I work with, that they did grow apart and once they've finished that role and their babies flew the nest, the need of being needed, that they had a role to do was
taken
strange.
away.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do
Who
themselves.
Who
am I?
Absolutely.
And what value can I offer my community or myself, and how do I go and seek that? And that's,
Well, my 15-year-old the other day, because someone said to me, you're so-and-so's mum, and my 15-year-old said, if I was referred to as being so-and-so's mum, that would really upset me. And I'm like, but it actually doesn't upset me, because that's what I've been for the last 18 years. I have been someone's mum. So I am still my own person, but that's definitely a big part of my identity now, because I'm keeping you guys alive.
Exactly. And that's,
and we celebrate that every birthday.
Oh, I know that feeling. I still check in on my teenagers. Are they breathing? Are they breathing? On the way to the toilet. Yep. Okay. I've done my job today. Still alive. And it's, it's that job never turns off, and it becomes part of your identity, but it doesn't, it doesn't define you. You are, and it's important to keep that balance. And if you feel like you're not yourself, revisit what makes you strong. I used to take myself on dates. I'm going to take myself out. I'm going to go sit in the cafe. I'm going to go to a movie, because I need to get to know who I am, because I lost myself in being a single mom, and it's such a hard hard job, and I didn't want to date anyone. So it was, okay, I'm going to date myself. I'm going to go out.
Excellent.
I don't need anybody else. I love this quiet time. No one's screaming at me, touching me, breathing my air, you know. She's looking at me.
I can go to the toilet by myself.
Yeah. That's the best.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's one of the conversations as a mother we all have, is the ability to be able to go to the toilet by yourself without someone knocking on the door or trying to get in.
Oh, yeah.
As a young parent, and there's some people that are older parents as well, you lose that, and it is quite confronting, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. But even now, like, I've got a photo, I will not show it to you, but I am on the toilet, and in the doorway I have 3 children, 2 dogs and a cat just sitting there staring at me. I'm like, husband, come home.
Yeah.
Come home now so I can pee in peace. I just want to pee.
And it's like if you shut the door,
The world's
going to end. Mum, where are you? I'm here. And, you know,
a fire will start.
Don't come past this area because I've got stage fright. If I'm going to hear you guys, you know, and I just need to go, and I've been holding on, and, you know, don't take away my performance right now. I need to go, and I need to do what I need to do. And if I'm going to hear you guys talking, I'm going to pack up business and walk out. So I need to. This is part of my healthcare plan, is to go to the toilet every day and keep my body healthy. And
Absolutely.
yeah, don't come past that door.
No,
You
I don't want
only
to know.
get talk like this on the Jess and
Yeah,
Jess.
aren't
Can
you
I
so
tell
lucky,
you?
people?
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it showed, like, this perception that you were always there. And I think it's a great thing that my kids believe that I am always there for them, even though in those moments where I don't particularly want to be there for them, like when I'm toileting. But, you know, like, their perception of you is you are someone who is 100% there for them all the time. And it's great to be their safe person. I was reminded of that at a parent-teacher interview yesterday. Isn't it lovely to be your child's safe person? And I was like,
signs of security, yes.
not really right now.
Yeah.
I'd rather not be their safe space, but I will say yes because you're the teacher and I'm supposed to, like, pretend like they're awesome and stuff. But yeah, it's good that they perceive you as being someone who's always going to be there for them.
Exactly. And I think if you don't actually, if you haven't had to be with that safety, you don't know what it's like. So I lost my mum, and I thought, oh wow, I never imagined, like, oh yeah, that'll happen when I'm older. And I thought, oh. And sometimes, you know, it's been 7 years. I still go to ring her.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Mum, I'm doing this cannabis. Anyway, you know, and it's that because she still is my safe place because of how powerful she was, and that relationship. You know, sometimes I just will go to a space, and, you know, especially Waikiki Beach, and still talk to her because that relationship hasn't died necessarily, or been buried or cremated.
Or you still need that relationship.
Yeah.
That doesn't go away just because her body has left the world. You still require your mother's love.
Yeah.
And to remind yourself of that, if you're talking to her, remind you of maybe things that she would say to you, or that's a really good reminder.
Yep. And to be that support person for my children, and to keep going. And, you know, love is eternal, and sometimes some people don't have parents, they don't have that support network, and they might feel alone. So if you don't have this mother's love or safe space, you can be that safe space for your own self. You can make that vulnerable inner child feel safe by things we were just talking about just then, the positive self-talk, the grounding, the breathing, you know, because we're in a perfect world, it would be great if we had this nuclear family, but it doesn't always exist, and people are becoming more and more vulnerable.
And separated.
Yeah.
And my 7-year-old said to me this morning, Mum, why do you greet every person as if they are your friend? And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. I just say hi to everyone because I speak to everyone.
Yep.
But I thought it was really interesting that she had seen that I greet people happily and like I like them. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I did it, and I don't know why I do it, but yeah, why do you greet everyone as if they are your friend?
Because I think that comes from that village. You know, it takes a village to raise a child. We used to live in communities.
Culturally, a lot of cultures still do live in that village, and I think that they're better suited to the world at the moment, because your family may live over in the east coast of Australia, and you feel that disconnection, really, that face-to-face conversation, things like that is not something that it used to be. You know, you used to have your grandparents live with you until for the rest of their lives, or your aunties and uncles are still living with you. We've lost that space, and I would love to see it come back.
Yeah, me too.
I think I'm going to live in a commune.
Although I may not live with my sisters. I'd like.
Yeah.
I'd live with you, Jess.
Okay.
Right, you can come and join us.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's our strong network.
Yeah.
And
No, but people still crave that.
Yeah.
it's internal, because whether it's ancestral, goes back to our, whether you're Welsh or Scottish or, African, from whatever continent you come from, people were living together. But whether we're tribal, we're meant to be in living. We might move
looking
around,
after one another,
and I think that's a very strong connection, that every culture, no matter where you're from, we were raised to live in villages. We were raised to care for each other, where the role of men or women were different. Some were hunters, some were fishers. We all care for each other, and we look after each other. And that sense of community in humanity and society is disappearing. And technology, someone will text you, "Oh, hey, I seen you at the shop. Sorry, I didn't say hi, but hey." And it's, I miss the same from in the school holidays, just the mums I would see, because that might be the only conversation I have. "Hi, good morning," and I make sure I say good morning, because it's that Rockingham way, country town kind of feel. But it was those little conversations that were mentally healthy for me, because I might not have a conversation. You just in such a rush, and the children that or your family don't necessarily give you that. So that sense of community and is very important to your well-being, and we might live in an apartment block and see 50 people in the street, but we don't talk to our neighbors, or we might not even have a human conversation, or just you just see your pet. There's some people who are alienated in a way that we're just sitting on our phones. Or
you see it on the train.
Yeah.
You see it on communal transport.
Even at Isaac's this morning, I noticed I was the only person who wasn't looking at my phone, and I thought, do I chat to people around me? I'll just sit up and look, like, how do I do this? But everyone was down on their phone. I'm always up for a chat.
Plug to Isaac.
Yeah, thank you,
sitting on a
Isaac.
Facebook
You've made my
Live.
great
morning.
coffee. Great. Yes, thank you, Isaac. I
love it.
Yeah.
It has been so great to get to know you a little bit more, and hopefully everybody who's watching and listening today also got to know you. How do people engage with you? I know that you're down at the pre-voting centre. You said that before. How do people engage with you, reach out and connect with you?
So we've had a few social events, and we're going to have one at Piper's Inn, I believe, on Friday, just one of the little pubs just in the boulevard over here. There is some events coming up, and you can read about them on the Facebook. Next week's going to be that busy, ramping up. There's also some retirement villages and senior centres that we are visiting. So we're mobile, keeping busy. So I'm just trying to be...
You're actively out in the community trying to engage with people. So,
yeah. So even this morning on the way here, I just wanted to have a chat with you guys. Didn't know I had this, this appearance coming, but I thought, jump on it. But even being available, if you're at IGA or Coles, people see you, come have a yarn. If you want to ask me a question, or what do you stand for? What are you going to do? Ask me, because everyone has that right to ask their candidates questions. There is phone number, there's email address, and I'm thankful that people are sending me, what do you think about this? What do you feel about that? Thank you for your time, because it's an opportunity for me to ask them what they think, because really that's what someone is elected to do. Whether it aligns with my beliefs, it's someone's role if they're elected to represent the community, and that's the gap we've seen. It's given me an opportunity to understand people's diverse opinions. So I'll be out, I'll be around. You can probably get my details off. I'll give it to you guys if anyone wants to give me a call or send me an email, get on the Facebook page. But if you don't have any of those, and you would like me to come to your house, I'm happy to meet someone down the local shop if they can't come to my event, or if you can't get out of the house, I can come see you and you can have a yarn, because that's what I'm about. And it's actually a privilege. It's actually a privilege to be to be sought out to be a representative for the community. I used to think, what a burden. I just want to go to the shop with no shoes on, no bra. But it's something that I can't do, because when you've gone to school here, you've played sport here, when you're embedded in the community, people recognise you. So I just want to get that bra off at the end of the day and just
don't we all?
Yeah, but and it has that small town feel, these little pockets. But I always see someone I know and I just feel like, okay, well,
hopefully they've got their bra off.
Yeah, that's it. It's the end of the day, bras off, woohoo, but bra back on. That's the worst.
You can make that a law. Can you make that a law? Look, bras must be off after 6 p.m.
Yeah, I know. That's the worst. Putting it back on after 7 because you got to quickly get something.
It wasn't until I got older I understood the bra burn.
Yeah. Oh, so over it. Sorry.
Anyway, Ray, it is great to talk to you. You've always got a seat here.
Yeah,
we love speaking to you, getting to know you. I wish you the absolute best of luck for the 29th, for the people within the Rockingham area. And if you don't know where the Rockingham area is, where do they go to find that area?
So I think I can actually upload it to the IPL page if you want to share that map. So residents can have a look and see whether they're within or out of that boundary.
So you don't make the same mistake as this chick over here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's been so many people that have actually been turned away. Oh, we thought we were here, and that's and there's been a lot every single day, and yeah, you see a high turnout within the first few days, but we're still seeing that every single day. And there's the primary schools and high schools where voters can rock up to on the 29th, and I'll send a link to the website as well for IPL Radio so you can see what school you can go to, how you can vote if you can't get down to early voting.
And we will chuck that on the Jess Address page.
Just sent it to you. I'm like all organised. I found it.
Woohoo, multitask.
Yeah, no, look at me go. Because I went to the wrong page before. I went to the federal, not the state. But I just found the state one.
Yeah.
Because it says WA.
Yeah, it's just navigating it. And sometimes people don't have a device or, so it's just that Olive Garden Island, Rockingham, down Reed Street, Hillman's included. The bit of Woodbridge is included excluded from the train line. So if you're on the Woodbridge side of the train line, you don't need to vote. And the pocket of Harrington Waters from Goongarry to Reed Street to Safety Bay Road.
Yeah. So we don't vote.
Yeah, Nangara, Mornington, Harrington Waters Boulevard, all those streets down there, you don't actually need to vote. So one side of Goongarry needs to vote, the north side, the south side doesn't need to, and that Reed Street side, Charthouse, Shoalwater, you mob all need to vote, but the south side of Safety Bay Road, you don't actually need to vote. So if you can't get a look at the map or you don't have those tools, Hillman you do, Woodbridge you don't.
You'll find the information on the Jess Address. We're going to listen to a little bit of music before I plug the Rockingham Charity Gala one more time. And we thank all the sponsors. Thank you so much, Ray.
Always lovely to have you.